Atlanta is home to some of the greatest fried chicken.
For us, fried chicken is Southern. It's a tradition in Atlanta. It's a traditional Sunday dinner.
Honestly, that crisp is unlike anything that I've had before.
We visited 3 famous spots: Busy Bee Cafe, Mary Mac's Tea Room, and JCT Kitchen and Bar to find which fried chicken is best in town.
We're calling Erin because she is super sick.
Herrine, I'm so happy you found a replacement, but I'm so sad I can't be there. You guys are gonna have so much fun, and let me know what the best chicken is, because next time I'm in Atlanta, I'm gonna go get some chicken.
I got you, girl. So we're in Atlanta, Georgia. This is my home state, my home city, and I'm so excited to find the best fried chicken in town. Alana, how does it feel to be back?
I feel, honestly, super hungry. I miss the show. I miss traveling to all these places, eating all this great food. And I do remember that season 2, we had our fair share of chicken.
We do know chicken quite well. So Alana, what are the qualities we're looking for?
Okay, so number 1, it has to have a crispy coating. It has to be super crunchy on the outside, it has to be seasoned, and it can't be too greasy.
Number 2, juicy chicken. The chicken should be the star of the show, and the moment you take a bite into the fried chicken, it should be moist and flavorful.
And 3, the sides. Some of the places we're going to today has sides come with the chicken. Others, you have to order a la carte, but either way, the sides have to stand great on their own as well as an accompaniment to the chicken.
Okay, I think we have a great quality rubric situation going on. Let's go.
Let's go.
So we're headed to Busy Bee Cafe. And this place is an Atlanta staple since it opened in 1947. And just like its name, this place is busy like all the time.
Yeah, and I've been doing some research on this place, and apparently they've won tons of awards.
But Southern cooking it brings back memories for people, because when it's a lot involved and people love it, and they can tell that you took your time to do it. So it's really that cook's passion for what she does. You can taste it in the food. Soul food for us is a traditional way that African Americans cook. And what it is a generation of passing where parents teach daughters or sons how to cook, and then you put your take on it.
What is your addition to your fried chicken recipe?
They just salt and peppered it when I got here. So I added more spices. I changed the flour they were using. I used a much lighter flour. And we actually cook ours in a pressure fryer. A pressure fryer to me duplicated what my grandmother did in a cast iron skillet with the crispy skin and the seasoned meat that was still juicy.
It's juicy, it's really, really light, it's seasoned well, and it kind of tastes like my grandma's.
What are the seasonings?
Everything's a secret. I just gave you the basic stuff. We used to use a white lily flour, which is really, really light, but we incorporate that with a little cake flour that makes it even lighter and crispier. It's fried in peanut oil, which is not greasy. It works well with the flavors, the seasonings that we use on the chicken. The sides we offer for a first timer, we would recommend the collard greens, the macaroni and cheese, and the candy yams. Those are the top items that's on literally every plate. We won't call you real Southern unless you're really eating collards.
If your grandmother had a bite of your fried chicken, what do you think she would say?
Oh, my grandmother would be so proud of me. But the first thing she would say is not as good as mine.
We have a live audience. This place is packed.
Packed. Like, I'm surprised we got a seat.
The coating is great.
I can just see the crisps just falling off.
And it's not greasy. All right, shall we? Y'all hear that crunch?
I don't feel like I'm just tasting pure like fat or pure grease. I'm getting the actual crisp of it, and it's very light. I will say that too.
It's very light. It's also very seasoned. Like it's salty. I don't get like any kind of resounding seasoning, but like It is well seasoned with salt and pepper at least.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the pepper.
The coating itself is pretty thin.
I love that it is thin because I feel like it really like lets us get to the meat quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let's get to the meat.
Yeah. They really took the initiative to make sure that each layer of seasoning penetrates through the skin.
Also that brining that they do, which is 12 hours. Like Miss Tracy said that she wanted to make sure that the meat is seasoned all the way down to the bone. And I can see what she means by that now. This is your first time in Atlanta trying fried chicken though,
Yes,
right?
it is.
So your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I can definitely see why Atlanta like puts fried chicken on the map. Like, if this is what we have to look forward to, then I'm gonna leave very full. Probably gain a couple, like 10 pounds, but it'll be worth it.
What do you think about the mac and cheese?
It's, again, just like the chicken, it's perfectly balanced. It's very easy to put either too much cheese on it so you don't get a lot of noodles. It's also very easy to not season your macaroni and cheese at all. But with every bite, you're getting like the perfect amount of salt to it.
The colors are so soft and so like flavorful because they soaked up all that
Yeah.
stock. I feel like the sides as a whole are just like very simple and like stick to the very like classic, I don't know,
Roots,
like
like Southern roots.
Exactly.
I think that this plate is Destiny's Child, amazing music, but the chicken is and will always be Beyonce. The fried chicken is like virtually perfect. I'm just like a super crunch fan, so even if they double fried it a little bit so it was like an even
that's a good point.
crunchier coating, it would be like phenomenal.
The next place we're going to is also like an Atlanta institution. It's very similar to this in terms of like plating and setup. So I'm very curious like what the differences will be.
So Mary Mac's is another Atlanta spot that I've been dying to try out.
This place is an absolute institution and it is the quintessential Southern dining experience. You'll see what I mean in a minute.
We've won multiple awards in the state of Georgia for Best Fried Chicken. So in 2011, the Georgia House of Representatives named Mary Mac's Atlanta's dining room officially.
So my parents are here because they insisted on seeing me work. So they're eating at a separate table and they ordered the fried chicken. Let's go see what they think. Hi, Oma. Hi, Opa.
This fried chicken is one of a good, I have a taste before. They're very soft and very fresh.
맛있어?
I think this is best.
The fried green tomato?
Yeah.
But we're doing a store of best fried chicken.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So Mary Mac started in 1945, and they were called tea rooms because there was a lot of widowed women whose husbands would die in the war, and they would have to find a way to support themselves. We still use a lot of the original recipes, and we just kind of concentrate on made from scratch Southern fare, kind of like how your grandma used to do.
This is the best recipe you can find for fried chicken. So the chicken comes in fresh, and then it goes into a browning solution. The only thing we put into the brine is salt. It tenderizes it and it adds to the flavor. In our flour batter, we only use 2 seasonings. Okay, now this is a secret. I normally wouldn't reveal it to anybody, but you guys are special. All we put in here is salt and white pepper. When you're coating it in this flour mix, you get a good coating on it because once it hits the oil automatically seals that flour in. We use canola oil. And then once it cooked, we wanted to get golden brown, have a good crunch to it, and then when you bite into it, oh my God, that's when you're gonna get all the flavor and all the juices.
I'd say the most popular is probably the 4-piece fried chicken, just because you get to try all the pieces of the bird. It comes with 2 sides. I'd say the mac and cheese is popular, and you have to go with some collards. A lot of people always add an extra third on there, and I'd say you got to do sweet potato.
This macaroni and cheese though, okay.
Shall we?
Yeah, because it has a crust.
Yeah, I like a good crust on a mac and cheese.
so creamy.
I think it's the evaporated milk and eggs. It has like this custardy binding thing. And you're right, like that cheese crust is everything.
Yeah, it just adds like a nice little crunch to an otherwise extremely creamy pasta.
Let's do fried chicken now.
Okay, why we're actually here. Ooh,
I'm gonna go for the drumstick.
this is crispy.
It is crispy.
It's very juicy.
I think the skin here is crispier and more flavorful than Busy Bee. The meat, I'm not getting as much juice, but the coating is like very, very crispy and light.
The coating is, I agree, very crispy and light. The only thing I disagree with is when you said that this one was more flavorful. I actually thought the opposite. I think Busy Bees did a really great job seasoning it for me, whereas this one is very like lightly seasoned, you know, more traditional Southern fried chicken without the bells and whistles.
It's just good plain fried chicken. It's almost like pork crackling.
Yeah.
That's the best breading I've ever had, ever. And to just get this from flour, honestly, is amazing.
Yeah. What flour did they use that they
Just
said?
regular flour.
Sometimes simple is better.
I like this one better.
Really?
It's more bitter and robust, which is like how I grew up eating collards. Because I feel like the collards at Busy Bee were a lot more like salty and kind of soft. This is just like honestly the place that I would think about when it comes to like great Atlanta like Southern cooking. And I remember at Busy Bee we were like, oh, I wish the coating was like a little thicker. I want to take that back almost because this coating is thin, just like Busy Bee. It's just crispier.
It's crispier, yeah.
So it might just have to do with like the flour that they're using.
For you, do you think that the canola oil made it a little bit crispier?
I'm not too sure if like the oil itself had a factor on like the crispiness. I think it has more of like the flavor because you do get like an additional like nutty flavor with the peanut oil, but I don't miss it.
All right, so I think for me at the next place, the only way that this could be topped is if we had that crispy skin. But since the next place we're going to is a little bit more modern, maybe it's teensy, bit more seasoning, just a little bit.
I agree with you. I feel like if JCT has a more seasoned meat and juicier meat and a breading that is literally this, but just with more spices, then it would win it for me.
So compared to the other two spots, JCT is like a new kid on the block, but I've been doing some research and I don't think we can count this chicken out.
That's true. This place has been on so many media sites. I'm curious to see how it stands up to the two OGs.
For us, JCT is really based in a lot of French and European technique, and what we do that is Southern is we source all of our ingredients in the South. We're obviously honored anytime anything gets recognized for us. We put a lot of love into it. We put a lot of trial and error.
I mean, it was moist, it's crispy on the outside.
Chicken at JCT, it changes through the year. We're sort of at the mercy of what the farmers are growing in the field at the moment. It's a half bird served with a couple of biscuits. We make those in-house, buttermilk biscuits. We top them with a little bit of honey butter, some crunchy sea salt, and then you get one side. I think we have some really beautiful kale on the menu right now. We're doing that. It's just kind of done in sort of the style of collard greens. We make this really delicious smoked ham hock broth, and then we just gently simmer the greens in that broth with a little bit of sauteed onion, a little bit of tomato, a little bit of brown sugar and vinegar, sort of all those usual suspects of Southern greens. So we can have combined both of what we consider to be sort of the best worlds of brining chicken, so to speak. So we do half brine, we do half buttermilk, and then that chicken marinates on the brine and the buttermilk for 24 hours. The next step, we go to our breading process. You know, this is where people like to get into the whole, this is my secret ingredient type thing. For us here at the restaurant, we're using a spice blend of chili powder, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. We like to add a little bit of cornstarch and a little bit of all-purpose flour. What that cornstarch does is it adds just when you're frying it, it removes a little bit of the moisture, wicks it away, and it makes it just a little bit, it gives it that little extra crunch that we're looking for in the crust. We let it sit in the breading for about 3, sometimes 4 hours, and just really develop another layer, so to speak.
I want to start eating the chicken now because I really want to eat the biscuits.
Wow. This is borderline illegal. Okay, Herrine, what do you think about the crust?
Just like we originally thought, the coating here is a lot thicker than the 2 other places, and I feel like the seasoning here is a lot more pronounced than the other 2 places.
Here there's like a pronounced spice and like a specific kick to it that I don't think we got at the other places. What do you think about the meat inside though, flavor-wise?
This is very, very tender, and it's still very seasoned.
I think all of the flavor is on the skin, but the crust is just like shining so brightly that I don't miss the seasoning on the meat, if that makes sense.
I think it complements each other.
Yeah, and the cornstarch is probably why the skin is so crunchy.
Yeah, and how they let it just sit. I think that's really smart. It's almost like a double breading situation. That's how crispy it is.
Which is what I was missing at Busy Bees.
And at Mary Mac's, like, it had a lighter coating. Still, I think the crunch was a lot more pronounced at Mary Mac's.
I know you were talking, but I'm really distracted by this biscuit.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That might be the best biscuit I've ever had.
You know how we talked about how sides should like complement the chicken? I have an idea. What if we took some of the chicken, right, and made like a little sandwich? Yes.
The biscuits here are incomparable to any of the bread that we've had. Shall we move on to the greens?
Yes, we shall.
Flavor-wise, I'm missing like the riblets that you get from collards that give you that added texture.
I do like a little bit of texture, a little bit something to bite into, and I felt like these are a little bit too much on the soft side for me. But flavor-wise, it's obviously much more loaded. There are much more components in this.
Yeah.
I think overall, I'm shocked because this isn't a traditional like soul food spot. Again, when I think of fried chicken, I automatically go to soul food, especially when we're in the South. And the fact that they kind of pride themselves on almost a French style of cuisine is just shocking that it's this good.
I feel like we touched on 3 very different spots.
Yeah, they all had their own charm, and they all kind of represented what I think of when I think of the South.
But we do have to pick a winner, so are you ready to reveal?
It's hard, but I think I got one.
3, 2, 1. I can't say that I'm surprised.
I have to say that I am a little bit surprised. Why'd you pick Mary Mac's?
The fried chicken at Mary Mac's is very simple, but like simple in the way that like I love Southern food, if that makes sense. Like every element I feel like was just executed perfectly. That breading especially, it was so crispy, it was so thin, it was so crunchy. The chicken meat itself was very moist and flavorful. Even the white meat was juicy. And the sides. I mean, like, the mac and cheese and collard greens are just 2, like, staple sides.
I think for me, if we're running down the list, the crunchiness of that skin at JCT was insane. And I think that it really married the best parts of all the places that we went to. It had the robust seasonings that we had when we were at Busy Bees. It had the crisp and crunch that we had when we were at Mary Mac's, but they married them perfectly together. And then on top of that, the meat itself was super, super, super juicy. And then for the sides, come on, like that biscuit was the best biscuit I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that biscuit was the best biscuit I've had in my life.
The reason why I'm surprised at your choice, Herrine, is because you said when we were at JCT that you appreciated the complex seasonings. Like, you liked that. And I feel like if we had a blind taste test, you'd probably agree that JCT is just a little bit better.
I hate to say it, but I do remember that I loved the coating and the seasoning at JCT like a lot, and that biscuit was amazing, and those greens, although they were not collards, they had everything I love. in collards. So what do you guys think? Do you think that JCT is the best fried chicken in Atlanta, or do you think I should have stuck to my guns and stayed with Mary Mac's, or was it Busy Bee or some other place?
Let us know in the comments below.
Bye.
See ya.